Glad to know you're still with us. London-based Financial Times publication has noted in an editorial that there are signs of President Tinubu's economic reforms going not as planned. As the publication also noted that although President Tinubu started with a bang by removing fuel subsidies and moving towards a market-driven exchange, events in the past 4 months show that more work has to be done. Going further, the report noted that the removal of Mr. Godwin Emefiele, former governor of the CBN, raised eyebrows due to its unconventional nature, giving the impression of political reprisal. And it noted that the new administration risks losing out on the gains of its earlier reforms and advised the president needs to properly explain his policies before announcing them. Now let's review these economic reforms with the aim to assess their impact on Nigeria's operating environment. Enebe Opaloa is Senior Research and Policy Analyst. He joins us virtually to analyze this issue. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How are you doing?
Very well. Good to have you join us. Let's begin by getting your general evaluation of President Tinubu's economic policies in the past 4 months. Of course, the very first one being the subsidy removal, and then we had the exchange rate harmonization, the change of the, the CBN management. What's your general evaluation?
I would say the president and his administration have been quite, let's say, bold and brave, and politically, because these decisions did not come lightly, in as much as everyone knew that fuel subsidy had to go. There was a dicey approach regarding how fuel subsidy should go. That was the big question. Several presidents have tried it before without success, and from day one he pulled it out like straight out. A lot of people might argue about the approach. I, for one, have always proposed a phased removal of subsidy, giving the country enough time to ensure domestic refining capacity is in place before it is now completely removed. If you remove it gradually, it gives the country and the government some time to ensure that we have some domestic refining capacity available. However, the government opted to pull it out immediately. And then, so we had to deal with the aftermath. Obviously, the petrol has a lot of influence on Nigeria's domestic economy, social life, private life, businesses. A lot of people depend on it. And so obviously it was going to bite hard. And then an added strong policy in terms of the exchange rate floating was added. I think that was also equally, but that's a bold. I don't know. I'm still here to find, because we are waiting for the numbers to come out. I'm still here to determine if that is still a very good move to implement both policies at the same time. By the time the NBS numbers regarding the economy comes out for the third quarter, I think we will have a better understanding of what
the impact.
The economy, yes, the impact on the economy. Right now, we have no credible data that we can look at. Most of the data available now are still pre-Tinubu era in terms of GDP, except for the price of petrol, which is what the numbers we have now. But in terms of the impact of the economy, when the numbers come out, then we can have a greater understanding of the impact.
Yes, I know. Sorry to butt in. I know that the numbers will give us a clearer picture of what the economy has had to go through, especially because of these policies. But I'd like to know your personal view, because yes, we get the results on paper most times, or many times. Even these figures do not really give a vivid picture, do not give the clear picture, does not go through the pulse of the average Nigerian to say how they are going through or what they are going through because of these hardship.
If I were to give my own, I am expecting some slowdown That's why I said that before I begin to speak. The numbers will be hard facts, but I am expecting some slowdown in terms of economic growth, and at least initially, the initial numbers, the initial spikes will demonstrate in a medium or short-term transient slowdown in the economy, because it take some time to adjust, and that adjustment period obviously it wasn't so easy. I expect consumption in certain areas to reduce. A lot of activities depend on petrol, and when obviously you can see visibly that the amount of vehicles on the roads have reduced, meaning petrol consumption has dropped. If I look at the numbers from the NMDPRA, you can see the numbers have dropped about some 30% on average post-subsidy removal. But even then, the implications are that when you have fewer movements, some businesses tend to suffer. This is not even regarding the cost of production now that will go up because of the price of fuel, but because of the fewer interactions, there are businesses that would not be able to make money. Prosperity industry, or in terms of like the luxury industries, might also suffer because a lot of people have to evaluate their income structure and how much they have available to spend on luxury. So I expect at least some drop in terms of growth for the third quarter. You don't even have to brainstorm a lot. We can see from what is happening. People are feeling it a bit, and it's expected. Before the subsidy was removed, we actually did research and said if it was removed gradually, the dependence on petrol was so much that the impact will cut across energy, power supply, social life, consumption, FMCGs, cost of production will rise. Even if you are just doing a service, if you're doing just a service provision business, you will use petrol to provide power supply. Even the barber will be affected because his cost will increase. And then when that happens, consumption reduces. When consumption drops, a low consumption is not bad for the economy. It's not good for it. It's not good for the economy. It's always good to have high consumption. That's what stimulates economic growth. So I believe initially, at least for this quarter, if the numbers are down, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, because if you look at one of the policies, which is the exchange rate unification, we still have the multiple exchange rates. Despite the unification, we still have the black market, and that's because of the scarcity of forex. So it's looking like these policies may be counterproductive in some regards, don't you think?
In the near term, it might look so. Now, we in terms of multiple exchange rates, we had not just two. The parallel market, black market, was just the informal market. In terms of informal market, there was the INA window. There was the rate at which certain certain institutions and agencies had concessions to get from it. Perhaps people in the power industry. There were certain provisions that different sectors of the economy were given so that they can access foreign exchange at a let's say competitive rate. If you rewind back as far back as 2016, it was the same access to foreign exchange that made independent oil marketers pull out of supplying petrol because they could not get adequate access to forex at a competitive rate. So there were a few concessions, but now everybody has to just go into one place. The federal government maintains a rate of 770 if I'm still current for their own services, for their own processes, at least based on the average.
But it's close to 1,000 naira, the black market.
The black market is now for the rest of everybody. Now, according to the government, it has been liberalized. You go get your forex to fund your business, but actually, you know that will affect your cost of production, affect the cost of doing business, and a lot of people are complaining. Even oil marketers right now, that's one of their challenges in terms of importing petrol, and that's why the NNPC is still the major importer of petrol up to today, despite the fact that the subsidy market has been liberalized and the exchange rate has been floated.